I was going to marry into children. I wasn't going to have any children. That's true. I wasn't planning on having kids. In the 9th month of pregnancy with my first child, I realized it was childbirth that I was really afraid of. It had nothing to do with the kids. So once I got through Shane's birth, which was amazing in itself, how quick and easy it was, so quickly that they couldn't give me the drugs, the epidural that I had requested. So I had a natural childbirth not by design. 6 years later, I had another child, Chase. Chase came even easier than Shane. Very simple. 3 years later, I was pregnant with Daniel, and things were right on track as usual.
Kathy Austin was pregnant with little Daniel, their 4th child. At a regular appointment with her doctor, she reported that she hadn't felt Daniel move in a while. Her doctor ran a non-stress test and wasn't happy with the results.
During my appointment with Maynard, we did the non-stress test. Things weren't going as well as he wanted, couldn't get any activity.
The worst case scenario is that the baby dies in utero. The best case scenario is I deliver a premature infant. Neither one is a great scenario.
It was starting to feel like this might be an all-day type of ordeal. So on my way out, I decided to call Dave, who was in Omaha and out of town, and leave a message just to let him know what's going on. And towards the end of that message, my voice started shaking a bit, and I walked out to the car, and when I got in the car, I started feeling the emotions started coming through. I get in the car, and I start, the tears start coming up, and I'm like, get a hold of yourself. Get a hold of yourself. Everything's going to be fine. So that was like my one moment of semi-panic.
I was expecting for Maynard to reassure me, tell me everything was fine. And he came on the line, and his first words were, Dave, I'm sorry. This is serious. It took me totally by surprise. I wasn't ready for those words, and he was upset.
And I told him that my gut feeling was not good, that I felt the baby was potentially dying in utero, and I felt this was happening fairly quickly. And he told me if I felt that way to get her delivered.
David Austin left his business meeting and got the next plane back to Los Angeles. He landed just in time to get stuck in rush hour traffic. He finally arrived at Kathy's side minutes before she went into emergency surgery.
And I came into that hospital, and I went into that room, and there were 5 doctors, specialists, and 4 nurses, and they're all very serious. This is a very serious thing. And fortunately, Kathy was like, guys, this is going to be fine. Everything will just be fine.
I knew whatever happened for a reason, was going to happen for a reason, and everything would turn out as it should be, whether that be I'm going to now be caring for a handicapped child, or it's going to have some, major complications, whatever it may be. Never once did it enter into my head that I was not going to have Daniel. I knew Daniel would come and survive, but there might be a little curve to our life.
When they took Daniel out, when Maynard, I saw him holding Daniel, and he's deep purple, and there's no movement, no life at all. I just had to kind of hold myself, because I'm sitting where Kathy's head, and I didn't want, they've got her open. I don't want her to know my kind of horror of seeing Daniel like that, because I've seen babies be born before. I've never seen a baby look like that. And so he took Daniel over to this little area with all the lights, and took him over, and all of a sudden all the specialists, and there was like 9 of them all working to try to get life out of Daniel.
Dave wanted to pray for his son, but was embarrassed to put his faith on the line in front of all these doctors. Then he remembered, this is my son. And he reached his arm past the working doctors, reached in and touched his son's leg.
And I said, Daniel, I want you to feel God's healing power. I want you to feel my love and God's love. And Daniel, it was like an electrical shock. He just opened his eyes and looked straight into my eyes. And he started life in this world. He then closed his eyes, but he started breathing, and all of a sudden it started to happen. He was alive.
None of the doctors expected Daniel to live through the night, but he did, and he lived through the next day. And the next week, each day he grew stronger. Then after only 2 weeks, the doctors decided Daniel could go home.
If you look at it try to look at it from a totally scientific or objective, quote, a coldly objective point of view, you say he was lucky. If you look at it from a worldly point of view or from a philosophical point of view, it was certainly a miracle that he was alive and that he's still alive.